think I'm getting too tired for this. I think I'm getting too tired for this. Hello, it's September 12th, 2024. Yes, I read this. When the law no longer protects you from the corrupt, but the corrupt are protected from you, you're doomed. What are we living? What have we been living? What have we been living? Exactly this. Very obvious. Very obvious. And it became quite obvious after 9/11. It grew increasingly obvious after 9/11. So, sorry, a whole lot. I have no excuse for sitting around doing nothing. And I also wanted to apologize for the ginger candy that I have. Okay. Yeah, I'm not too swift. So, since you didn't hear this and didn't hear me, did you hear me when I finally came on? And no, you didn't. Louisiana Skywatch's beautiful, unbelievably beautiful dog, Madison. This is what we're starting with. Oh my God. Beautiful. Seriously beautiful. And that you didn't see it. The hell am I doing? Why am I doing this? Why? I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Yeah. Oh, my Madison. Yeah, you can either not see the videos or not hear me or whatever. Yeah. Oh, you have a beautiful, beautiful dog. I feel a bit of envy. A lot going on. A lot of windows open since I missed last night. So much going on. And so many people every single day. The number just keeps rising on the people who are suffering the consequences. Considering you had to come in now, babe, right? Right now, out all day long. And so now you come in wanting to eat. Okay. I had his food ready. Nice to see Louisiana Skywatch. Is Tony Punch in? What did I see? I think I saw Louisiana Skywatch without power in Louisiana. Your house in Kenner got water. How much? And no power still. I don't see Tony Punch, who lives, I think, just south of New Orleans. A lot of people suffered the consequences of Hurricane Francine, but it wasn't as bad as they were claiming it was. Okay. So let's do radar. Radar. Hurricane Francine is, well, making her way to Illinois, Missouri, into Kentucky. She's in Tennessee. That's right. Tropical storm, hurricane, doesn't matter. They never stop anymore, right? They never diminish like they used to. Now they just, well, they push them wherever they want them to go. With electromagnetic frequencies, as we all know, you can see the high pulses right here. That might be a Doppler radar pulse in Missouri. Florida, you always have rain somewhere. Look at this. Look at these extremely low frequencies blasting off the coast of Texas. And no, the green you might think is rain. It's not. Oh, man, oh, man. So we've got some supercell activation up here, South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana. Look how straight line this is. Wow. Mother Nature, you sure have perfected your weather fronts. Extremely low frequencies still activated in Southern California, where those fabulous fires are. She says with great sarcasm. Look at this. It's still showing its hurricane twirl. Okay. People should know. Something's wrong. So the severe weather is in Montana and South Dakota. Be careful, guys. Custer, Montana. Harding, South Dakota. You've got severe thunderstorms coming. Be very careful. The link to the severe weather alert site is in the chat. And I'll put the radar site in as well. There you go. So, I don't even know where to start. So, you know what? I'm just going to start with this. And since I put it on, I think you can see this. Can you see it? Look at this. Biden and Kamala are expected to launch World War III this weekend and authorize attacks deep into Russian territory. Other people are speaking about the authorization that our government has given to Ukraine to launch attacks deep into Russian territory is not good for anybody in the world. It is not good. Okay, babe. One sec. So they're doing it, and we're going to pay the price.
В последние дни мы видим и слышим, как на очень высоком уровне Великобритании и США муссируется тема о том, что киевский режим сможет наносить удар вглубь территории России западными вооружениями большой дальности. И, судя по всему, это решение либо будет принято, либо, судя по всему, вообще уже принято. И эта вещь, конечно, экстраординарная. Хотелось попросить прокомментировать то, что происходит.
Происходит попытка подмены понятий, потому что речь не идет о разрешении или запрете киевскому режиму наносить удары по российской территории. Он и так наносит с помощью беспилотных летательных аппаратов и другими средствами. Но когда речь идет об использовании высокоточного оружия большой дальности западного производства, это совершенно другая история. Дело в том, что я уже об этом говорил, и любые эксперты это подтвердят, и у нас, и на Западе, наносить удары современными высокоточными системами большой дальности западного производства украинская армия не в состоянии. Она не может этого делать. Это возможно только с использованием разведданных со спутников, которыми Украина не располагает. Это данные только со спутников или Евросоюза, либо на Соединенных Штатах. В общем, с НАТО. Это первое. Второе, и очень важное, может быть, ключевое, заключается в том, что полетные задания в эти ракетные системы могут, по сути, вносить только военнослужащие стран НАТО. Украинские военнослужащие делать это не могут. И поэтому речь идет не о том, чтобы разрешать украинскому режиму наносить удары по России этим оружием или не разрешать. Речь идет о том, чтобы принять решение о том, что страны НАТО напрямую участвуют в военном конфликте или нет. Если это решение будет принято, это будет означать не что иное, как прямое участие стран НАТО, Соединенных Штатов, европейских стран в войне на Украине. Это их прямое участие. И это уже, конечно, существенным образом меняет саму суть, саму природу конфликта. Это будет означать, что страны НАТО, США, европейские страны воюют с Россией. А если это так, то, имея в виду изменение самой сути этого конфликта, мы будем принимать соответствующие решения, исходя из тех угроз, которые нам будут создаваться.
Okay. Our country really keeps us on our toes, doesn't it? Doesn't it, doesn't it, doesn't it? It's not good. It's really not good. I mean, oh, and this was like 2 seconds before going live. I checked my email, and this is what came in. Bill Gates says the world is facing two options: a major war or another pandemic in less than 30 years. He's so concerned. It keeps him up at night. It keeps him up at night because, well, you know, he's concerned about all of the useless eaters. He doesn't want them to be hurt. So there's a lot of World War III, as if it's not already in the works, but a lot of World War III talk In 30 years? Really, Bill? You think it's going to be 30 years? Pandemic? Okay. All right. And about what Blinken had said. Let's see, where is that? It is unbelievable. Yeah. So expected to launch World War III this weekend and authorize attacks deep in Russian territory. Blinken will announce tomorrow that the U.S. has given Ukraine the green light to strike deep inside Russia using Western-made missiles. And we're so loved all over the world. Can't you feel the love? This is a Polish MEP who doesn't really like Blinken, clearly.
Blinken, go home. Go home as soon as possible. Get lost. Get lost. We don't want you here. We don't want Polish people paying and dying for your wars. Thank you very much. Blinken, go home.
Blinken, go home. We don't want you. The world is no longer afraid of the empire. Clearly. I think we're going to get our tuchuses handed to us. And one more. Okie dokie. In Canada.
A Simcoe woman has found herself in hot water after an incident involving a water gun. She says a neighbor called police after she accidentally sprayed him with a toy water gun. Not only did police show up, but they charged her. CTV's Jeff Pickle joining us now with more on this. And
Jeff Pickle? Jeff Pickle is doing the story on a woman who is charged in Canada for accidentally spraying her neighbor with a water gun.
Jeff, really no laughing matter here. The woman facing a rather serious charge.
Tony, very serious. And Wendy Washik is a 58-year-old educational assistant. She says she was playing around with some kids from the neighborhood at a backyard barbecue when she accidentally hit the neighbor with the water from the water gun. Police were called and they have laid a charge of assault with a weapon.
Yeah, very similar to that, like a pump style.
On most days, it's a harmless toy. But right now, a water gun is a major source of anxiety for 58-year-old Wendy Washik.
I've cried myself to sleep many nights.
According to Washik, she was visiting neighbors in a backyard and started playing with some of the kids.
And because I love kids and work with kids, I asked him if he had any water guns, and he said, yeah.
Washik says she was chasing one of the kids from the backyard to the front yard when the incident happened.
I was trying to figure out how the water gun was working. It's not like I play with water guns at this age. As I was going through the gate, and it accidentally hit the neighbor that was like maybe 3 feet away cutting his grass.
She says the man called police who arrived and spoke with him, but she says police never talked to her.
They had told my husband to bring your wife out of the backyard, that I'm being charged with assault with a weapon. They didn't ask me one single question. They didn't interview one single person.
Washik, who works as an educational assistant, says she has been put on leave by her school board.
And the mental and financial stress that has been put on my family, my children, and my husband is not right and is not fair.
Neighbors say they've had ongoing issues with the man who phoned police.
Lots of neighbors, police called on him, and they're constantly here.
It's been a reoccurring issue on the street of police being at his house for very, very minor issues.
Bobby and her son Liam say they crossed the street just to avoid the man's home.
The friends are allowed to come to our house, but we no longer allow them to come to this house.
The neighbors we spoke with say they feel police are being weaponized against them.
I don't think it should be that way. I think our system's really messed up when it comes to that.
We all get along fine. We're not calling the police on our other neighbors. It's always the one individual who's calling the police out.
According to Norfolk County OPP, they will not comment on specifics of this incident, but do say we are committed to maintaining high standards in our investigative work, regardless of how the public may perceive the allocation of resources. The Washik family have retained a lawyer, and their daughter started a GoFundMe page to help with legal expenses, but Wendy is hopeful the situation is resolved long before it gets to a courtroom.
How does this happen? How does this happen? How? What the hell is wrong with people? And they have no shame. So you think that neighbor, considering what he's done, and all the other neighbors know, do you think, he's feeling any kind of shame? Shame is a good thing to feel, because you'll stop behaving in the way that brings you that shame, because you don't want to feel it again. It's another, emotion that is our internal communication. And shame, well, it's also an educator. Educates us. Maybe I shouldn't be an asshole. Okay. But wow, assholes now create consequences for people that are unbelievable when the police go along with it. Aren't you mortified, horrified at what has become of our world? Wow. I am. All right, so yeah. Let's get to it. Where do I start? I'm starting with those fires out in California. And that's the wrong window. Yeah. So they're not good. A whole lot of people have lost their homes. And yes, it's as clear as day to me that either these are plasma fires that just ignite the home from below, and cars, or they were hit with precision directed energy weapons that have left the trees, and it's very upsetting to see this. It's ongoing, and I guess people are just not going to get it.
And as you mentioned, 3 fast-moving fires spanning 4 counties, destroying dozens of homes this morning. Firefighters desperately battling to get the upper hand. This morning, counties in Southern California under a state of emergency after forceful wildfires scorch over 100,000 acres near Los Angeles. In Riverside County, a car collection melted by the fast-moving airport fire. More than 19,000 residents there under evacuation orders. The devastating airport fire forcing thousands and thousands of people to flee, some coming home.
You have noticed all of the trees surrounding this house, all of the cars, right? Again, it must have just been that flying ember that took out and flattened this home in a matter of hours.
forcing thousands and thousands of people to flee, some coming home to find nothing left.
We packed up the kids and got out of there. Not a couple hours later, we heard our house was just leveled.
Joe Caruso and his family lost the home he grew up in, built by his father in the 80s.
Just seeing the burnt out shell when the video passed over on the news was, yeah, it was just, you get a sinking feeling in your heart.
Scorching temperatures making this a complicated job for firefighters, but a cool down today hoping to aid the fight. In Highland, burnt land across the hillside, this home now just ash on its foundation. The line fire, with more than 36,000 acres burning at 18% containment, displacing over 100,000 people.
Flames and the ash was falling, and it was just hard to breathe.
And the line fire, apparently it was started by an arsonist. Okay. Yeah. Destroying homes, forcing evacuations. And when you look at these fires or the flooding that has been going on all over the world, think about the animals, all of the animals. One guy lost his horse in, I think, the airport fire, and the fires don't look like forest fires. The coloring of the flames. And sometimes I'm looking at this and it just looks like a surreal, movie that I'm watching.
Tonight, fire continues to burn in 4 counties, destroying homes and properties. Mandatory evacuations in place across Southern California. Resources being stretched thin tonight. Good evening. Welcome to Fox News at 10. I'm Alex Michaels.
And I'm Christine Devine. Thanks for being with us. 3 fires we're talking about here burning across Southern California.
The situation dangerous, prompting evacuation orders. We are tracking the bridge fire, the line fire, and the airport fire.
We have team coverage. Matthew Seedorf and Chelsea Edwards are on the fire lines. We begin with our chief meteorologist, Adam Kruger. Adam.
And our heat wave really taking its toll on the vegetation, and that's why these fires are growing so rapidly. We've seen the numbers really jump up a lot just this evening. It's not that the winds are that big of an issue, but again, just very, very dry vegetation, low humidity, a little bit of a breeze in some spots. So we mentioned those 3 fires, and we have an air quality alert for all areas in gray. That's no surprise because of all the smoke in the air. Now, of the 3 that I mentioned, it's the bridge.
Intense flames pushing closer to towns across San Bernardino County. The massive line fire Tuesday night growing to more than 32,000 acres.
Makes me sick. I grew up here, born and raised here.
Thousands of people between Highland and Big Bear under mandatory evacuations. The National Guard called in for a state of emergency. Some waiting until the final minute to pack up. Are you getting ready to leave right now?
Yeah, I am. We got the truck fired up. The air quality's so bad I can't spend another night here.
The fire right on the edge of Running Springs. Take a look at this. The truck over here is now melted, and then possibly a house destroyed. All you can see now.
And I'm always kind of fascinated with these vehicles that the fire was so intense and hot, melted the glass, melted metal, aluminum, and the tree right above the vehicle, nothing. Nothing. Somehow, the flames stay very, very low. Oh, but the flames, they're saying, are just growing, and they have fire tornadoes going on. Oh, boy. Look at this.
Consumed more than 34,000 acres. That's still.
So this is grass fire. Just grass fire. And the fire is that hot? A white flame? I can't remember the temperature, but it's not forest fire temperature. It's like double the temperature of forest fires, wildfires. Look at how hot these fires are.
at 0% containment. That fire started on Sunday near East Fork and Glendora Mountain Road. It's prompted numerous evacuations, including the community of Wrightwood. Firefighters have managed so far to slow that fire by dropping retardant nonstop overnight with night-flying helicopters. But about 10 minutes ago, an evacuation warning for areas of San Antonio Heights and Upland. This is a live picture right now from our photojournalist, Sam Dubin, who is in
known as Ortega Highway. We saw some flames on a couple properties just up the road from us here. These are in the hills above Lake Elsinore. 2 homes on this property were saved, but at least 2 cars and multiple storage units, all the trees in the area, all damaged or destroyed. Today, we did learn that homes were destroyed or damaged in this area, as well as down in Lake Elsinore. But fire officials tell me they're still working on figuring out how many. But they also tell me fire crews did save a lot.
And this fire, somehow, it just miraculously missed everything but the car, electromagnetic frequencies. A conductor is metal. Look at this. Just the car. Oh, okay.
Lake Elsinore, but fire officials tell me they're still working on figuring out how many. But they also tell me fire crews did save a lot more homes than were lost overnight. The forward progress slowed dramatically, and that was because the weather was so much more helpful today.
But what's unique about this area is what we call the Lake Elsinore effect.
The Lake Elsinore effect.
A mere 6 miles from Wrightwood. The destructive fire ripping through nearly 50,000 acres and destroying 20 homes in Mount Baldy and 13 homes in Wrightwood. Some Pinion Hills residents terrified it's just a matter of time before the fire turns many of their homes to ashes.
I have a shop that I'm staying in with my motorhome.
Here in Pinion Hill.
Yeah, with my animals ready to go. I know. It's just, I'm so sorry, sweetie.
She's gone through so much with her brain surgery and stuff. This is just nothing.
Yeah, it's so kudos to the fire department, and I pray everybody's going to be safe.
Flames and the ash was falling, and it was just hard to breathe.
Heidi says flames came into the Pinion Hills community last
Street and camped out there for the night.
as folks scrambled in Pinion Hills to evacuate. Sadly, one resident could not get his horse out in time. He says the animal died after being overcome by heavy smoke and ash. Vicky's Pet Services volunteering to remove the carcass. Vicky, you're here to remove that horse that passed away. That has to be a tough job.
It is, but I'm glad I do it because I feel like I help them.
Yeah.
It's very heartfelt.
Some residents panicking as they scramble to evacuate their horses and other animals. They were grateful people and organizations came in to help them get their animals out. You folks have already come into communities like this one and you've rescued more than 60 horses.
Absolutely. A lot of the times with this community, many people don't have the transportation for their horses or any livestock at that point, and do need our help.
I was actually surprised to see those horses so calm.
Residents panicking as they scramble to evacuate their horses and other animals. They were.
Oh man, people are really going through it. Bridge fire. Now, listening to some of these people who are interviewed, they're talking about how they saw the line fire. I think it was the line fire, one of these fires, how The fire was coming down the mountain in a line. This is a wildfire. And it was coming down so fast, they couldn't believe it. And yes, can nanotechnology be used? Nanobots, GPSs, actuators that make their nanobots go really fast? Yes. There are so many methods that they have.
The images are heartbreaking. Leftover chimneys, melted metal, and ash everywhere as the airport fire ripped through this mountain community of Lake Elsinore in a flash.
The flames were across the street, about 20 feet away and 50, 60 feet tall.
Reed Nichols grabbed his dogs Tuesday afternoon and a few belongings and drove out as quickly as he could.
There's firemen driving through the village yelling everybody to get out. They're not going to try and fight it. It's undefendable.
Thankfully, he survived. His homes did not.
I had 3 houses, 2 rentals and mine, and they're all burned.
One of his renters also lost everything.
They were telling us, you need to go and you need to go now. The flames are close. So I still hesitated. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave my home. So I have.
Robin Putt and her neighbors spent today in their cars waiting to get up there to the El Carrizo community of about 60 homes, many of which.
I'm sorry, you see all of these trees around? And again,
El Carrizo community of about 60 homes.
Look at this. This car it looks like an old Rolls Royce. But look at all of the dry brush around it. And people aren't questioning this.
Many of which are no longer there.
Everything's gone. Everything.
And to add insult to injury, many who live up here in this community tell me they did not have fire insurance, so they're just not sure what's going to happen now.
A year ago, they canceled me for being in a fire zone. I tried for days with different companies, and every time got rejected.
Although many homes were leveled, fire.
And every time got rejected.
Although many homes.
Had the fire get in there. Look at all of the trees surrounding it. Yeah. Arson. This is the arsonist. I kind of have
successfully been able.
My doubts. I have to wonder if this guy was just picked up as a patsy. I don't know. Because I listened to a broadcast and his neighbors were shocked, said that, well, we never know anyone anyway, but they don't tell you how, what he did to start the line fire, right? And that exploded overnight. It just exploded. What did he do? How did he do it? They don't tell you that. Just that he did it.
Micah and Cher, investigators say using one of those license plate readers, they were able to put the suspect in the same vicinity of Highland where that fire began. And they say not only when they executed the search warrant, they found evidence inside that vehicle and inside his home linking him to the crime. A wildfire burning out of control in the San Bernardino Mountains, scorching thousands of acres, putting homes and lives in danger, is all being blamed on one man accused of intentionally starting the horrific blaze.
were able to look at several different videos and determine who the suspect was.
34-year-old Justin Halstenberg was taken into custody. Detectives say there was evidence found in his Norco home, a home in a quiet community.
That shocks me right now. We never thought he would have been the one to start the fire.
The two went to high school together.
Calm, quiet guy. He wasn't, no one ever thought to do anything like that.
Neighbors equally in disbelief.
You know, seeing the people's faces that are losing their home, that's the ugliest thing you can see.
If true, Halstenberg is responsible for burning down this home on Pinecone Drive in Running Springs.
And do you see all of the dry brush? Okay. They won't tell you what the evidence is. I've listened to several broadcasts now. They don't tell you what the evidence is, what he did. Okay, it's a whole lot of structures lost, the bridge fire. And yeah, is it just the camera that is making, it seems that these fires here in Southern California have a different coloring to them. See a lot of purple flames. And yeah, airport fire destroys cars, streets.
Get one of your dozers on that spot.
See all of the fires? Okay. They're all on the ground. Jeff Snyder 2 plasma fires. You can check it out. But they're all on the ground.
Right now.
And this is what the airport fire looked like earlier as it jumped the freeway into Lake Elsinore. You can see scattered patches of flames, but then the fire grows, completely burning through the grass and the trees.
And look at how powerful these flames are. This is from the airport fire. You can just see there how strong the area is burning. The flames are taller than the trees out there. And as the video keeps rolling, the fire keeps getting stronger.
And take a look at this fire tornado caught on video. It was captured in Lake Elsinore. And of course, that is when you get air, dust that's all caught up in the flames already there. And it just spins, creating a fire vortex, if you will.
Yeah, quite a sight there. Here's
Well, we are in big, big trouble. It is very sad. But look at this. Again, these fires should really capture the attention of those who live there, for sure, because, well, they present pictures where you have to say, this doesn't look quite right. The fire engulfed this grayish area, bypassing all of these trees, bypassing these trees, It literally took to dust this home, all of the trees surrounding it, though. Maybe this looks a little burnt. The bottom of the tree here is a little singed. That's it. Okay? House fires are going on all over. This is only one that I'm going to show you. But a whole lot of people are being displaced because their homes are just going up in flames. And why did I choose this? Is this the one where it just looked like, wow, it had exploded? And, well, check it out.
Yeah, and the damage here is so extensive that restoration crews, they're still out here trying to board up this house and clean up from the mesh. You can see they boarded up front of this home. And as we start to get some sunlight, you'll see the damage on that roof. But take a look at this, because this is the video from Metro Fire of Sacramento that really does show just how intense this fire was, engulfing this one-story home. In fact, Metro Fire described it as a, quote, fast-moving inferno. Crews tried to work as quickly as they could to stop these flames and protect the two neighboring homes on either side of this home. But the damage done to this home is 2 adults, 5 children had to be displaced from this home. Fortunately, no reported injuries, and fortunately, the Red Cross working with them to make.
I mean, where did it come from? What happened? The vehicles as well. And another fire that got started, 70 acres. It was a vegetation fire. Look at, yeah, it just kind of stopped. See, when I see this kind of pattern to fires, this is when I think plasma fire. Look how nice and defined it is. Okay, so California is having quite the fire time. And there was an earthquake in Malibu. And may I say again, one more time. And I've shown the extremely low frequencies that have been blasting away. Tonight, they don't seem as ferocious as they did 2 nights ago, 3 nights ago. But you see these lines? They can bring about earthquakes.
Of information that we're gleaning. One, a quick look at the shake map. Yeah, a couple bits of information that we're gleaning. One, a quick look at the shake map. This was felt as far east as the Inland Empire, felt as far north as the Central Valley. So it's not just here where it was felt. Notice there's the quake right there. Canaan, there's Westlake Boulevard, leaving Westlake Village, heading over west of Zuma Beach. That's the epicenter right there. A couple things. One, the initial report was a 5.1. That's why everybody's phone went off. They go off when it's a 5 or bigger. Turns out the earthquake was a 4.6. So 4.6 magnitude, but we've already begun to see some aftershocks. And it's interesting. There was the initial quake, the bigger circle. The first aftershock that was recorded was right along the PCH, just west of Zuma Beach and just east of where the 23 spills out to the 1. So we're already beginning to see some aftershocks. That was a 1.8. That is a 4.6.
4.6 aftershock? Wow. Okay. All right. I'm going to post the link to Inspired's video that he posted today. And for any of you who don't know much about Agenda 2030 and how local governments like mayors around the world are cooperating with the United Nations to bring about all of the Agenda 2030 goals, sustainability goals, you should watch this video. I'm just going to play the first few minutes.
First nomination is for
Listen, in a world of economic uncertainty, safeguarding your
Oxfordshire County Council, which wants to impose a 15-minute city, which is going to include control zones. It's going to mean you're not going to be able to drive to certain places. They want everyone to walk and cycle. And they've been inspired not just by the lockdowns and restrictions, but actually this is a group internationally called C40 of mayors, which, so no surprise, Sadiq Khan is actually the chair of. Of course he is. Basically, local authorities and councils are so contemptuous of people, and they're so obsessed with this idea of net zero, rather than thinking about how we can have transforming transport networks, better housing, improved infrastructure. They want to limit what we do. They want to restrict it. And then they want to fine and have punitive measures. And it's not just Oxfordshire now, it's others. We've got this situation where the idea that you can not just nudge, but you can restrict people from going about their daily life, and contemptuously saying, well, you can walk or get a bike. And I really think it reflects the wrong think of local authorities. Duncan Enright, who's the cabinet minister, actually said, we're going to do it whatever you think. It's going to happen. He did an interview saying it's happening anyway. So the dispense of any idea of democratic accountability, this utter contempt, it's not like it's what everyone wants locally and they're doing it. It's quite from up top.
Recently, we've seen a lot of misinformation about traffic filters circulating online. This misinformation is being spread by many disreputable sources, and it has been extremely disappointing to see it being picked up by the national media outlets as well. These conspiracy theories are causing real-world harm and need to stop. We have been receiving many calls and emails from worried residents in genuine fear that they might be locked in their own homes.
After 3 years of planning, city administration is presenting its vision to accommodate a population of 2 million people through 15-minute cities. 3 days of public hearings on the plan began at City Hall this morning. Shailen Skulski has more.
I'm here to express my concerns.
Shelley Motorshead is one of more than 70 speakers scheduled to be heard at City Hall. Over 3 days, councillors will hear from residents and representatives from the construction industry, childcare, community leagues, and students on administration's plan to deal with a growing population.
We are building a cohesive city with opportunities for local living.
Population is rapidly growing, and we have to be able to accommodate for that. Right now, the plans we have are kind of Frankenstein together over decades.
The 15 new district plans and corresponding bylaws will replace 54 existing planning documents dating back to the 1980s.
I know we have a proclivity in our culture and our society today that we have to rely on expert models before we can make a decision if something's good or bad. So I decided that I would create an expert model to help visualize to people what is a 15-minute city. So come on in, let me show you what a 15-minute community looks like.
Well, I'm excited to see this, Randy, because you always break things down into nice practical ways, right?
Here we go. These residents of the 15-minute community, they're not locked in, but they just stay there. They're free to come and go, but they don't. So let's take a step inside. Everything they need in their life is right here in their 15-minute community. A water bowl, a feed tray. They own nothing, but they are exceptionally happy.
All right, so he does go into the climate change bringing about an awful lot of the changes that we are already, some of us are already living, all right? They bring about weather warfare. Nobody, a whole lot of people just refuse to look into it. No, you're just a conspiracy theorist. Okay, fine. Oh, they're dangerous people. And I mean, they're like forcing people to believe in climate change. And then they implement all of their plans. Wow. So it was a good video. It's not that long. And all of it is already in the works. So they've got their one world government already. Yeah. So on Hurricane Francine, I was actually happy to see that it was not as bad as I imagined that it could be, but a whole lot of people got it. And Louisiana Skywatch, you did say that water entered your home. So my hunch is you're okay because you're here. But a lot of people are not okay. We did everything right. Well, let me just show you. Here's some footage of Hurricane Francine.
USA, September 11th, 2024.
There we go. Now we live.
Francine crashed ashore in Terrebonne Parish, about 30 miles southwest of Morgan City, the National Hurricane Center announced at 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Packing top sustained winds near 100 miles per hour, the hurricane then battered a fragile coastal region that hasn't fully recovered from a series of devastating hurricanes in 2020 and 2021. Snapped power lines and sent tree limbs crashing down. There were no immediate reports of deaths or injuries. Some footage from coastal communities showed waves from nearby lakes, rivers, and Gulf waters thrashing seawalls. Water poured into 1,000 hours after landfall, spread widely across southeast Louisiana.
All right, so I'm going to post the link. You can check it out. I think in Louisiana, they had about 250,000 people without power. And
this is a shelter-in-place storm.
Francine also pounding New Orleans and nearby coastal communities with more than 8 inches of rain, floodwaters cutting off parts of the city.
Officer, they have a truck right here.
NBC New Orleans affiliate WDSU live on the air when a driver drove right into a flooded overpass and started to sink.
It seems like one person is in that vehicle.
A good Samaritan springing into action to save his life.
They're walking that guy back that way, I guess, to check on him to make sure he's good.
A storm surge of up to 4 feet flooding major highways.
The rain is endless. The wind is as strong as it's been. And over here, the storm surge from Lake Pontchartrain, the waves now crashing over the seawall.
In New Orleans' Jefferson Parish, residents told to limit water usage.
What we're seeing is our sewer system being inundated with groundwater and storm.
And a picture of the Superdome. Remind anybody of anything? Maybe Katrina?
Stormwater, and it's being overwhelmed.
The National Guard now deployed into communities.
We've got search and rescue boats. We've got high water vehicles. We've got soldiers. That will react once the storm lifts.
But even the guardsmen not immune to Francine's impact. One of its trucks skidding off a rain-slicked road. Luckily, no one was hurt. The storm setting off tornado warnings across Louisiana and southern Mississippi.
I'm just praying and asking the Lord to protect us.
And all flights in and out of the New Orleans airport canceled.
I'm a little concerned about Tony Punch who I have not seen in the chat, who lives outside of New Orleans. But Louisiana Skywatch, I think you're the only one who can speak to how bad this was, because last night I was watching some of the live cams. One of them was in New Orleans, and it didn't look bad at all. Looked like a little bit of rain this morning. It was like maybe you got some rain, but of course the live cam, takes a certain area. But when they were showing all of this footage, mainstream media, and the National Guard and, talking about all of the equipment that they had, I mean, it was almost, it did bring me back to Katrina. And it was not Katrina, but I will tell you this. It was the rains that come anywhere, all over the country. It was the winds that come all over the country.
Are just showing us the extent of the flooding of this house. The basement is just absolutely flooded. I have Keith and Desiree with me here today. Keith, I think you're speaking with us today. What has been going on? Tell me just a little bit of like a timeline and explanation of the night.
Yes, everything was under control as far as the street flooding until it looked like the eye wall, based on the last thing I could see on my phone before we lost electricity. Right when that eye wall was over us and it started raining and the wind started blowing, harder, then I noticed that the water on the street started to come up and the manhole in front of the house started to pop off from the pressure. And then, shortly after that, I'd put up sandbags by the back door and put another barrier on the back door to try and block the water. But it came up so fast, so high that it just overtopped the sandbags and the barrier that I put up. So it just
started seeping in. We tried to mitigate with towels and even scooping water into pots and whatnot. We're just in shock. We've done everything right. We have a sump pump we just put in. They just did a major drainage project outside. The guys were great who did the project. They just finished and they told us, oh yeah, this should help with flooding, and we're absolutely stunned that this has even happened again. We put in a sump pump. We have the generator. We did everything right.
Well, once we lost electricity, then the sump pump, had no power, and and it seemed like the pumps on the streets stopped working because the water stopped
obviously
being pulled down.
I'm gonna ask my photographer Robin to come down.
All right, so they walk through this couple's house. They said sewage was also backing up in their bathroom, in the shower, in the toilet. And it's interesting listening to people because they kind of give you an idea that maybe something's not right. So their sump pump went out when the electricity went out, but so did in the drainage system in for the flooding project that they were talking about. That stopped working. And then suddenly, the waters are coming up. Now they have sewage along with the flooding that came in from outside. Sewage came up. And yeah, I have to hear from those there, you know, how bad were the rains that once again, the drainage system stops working, you know, and they do, they just renovated. Now they're going through the flooding again. And well, it's called wearing people down, right? Water came up so quick.
Near the Nichols campus said this was the area where some homes got quite a bit of water inside, and the whole area actually where I'm standing right now on West 8th was completely flooded with water. We do want to check in now with the homeowner here, Miss Christina. Miss Christina, I mean, you were here throughout the duration of Hurricane Francine. Go ahead and tell me, walk me through the timeline of events that happened yesterday.
Like once the wind and the rain started picking up, like we've seen some flooding, but like once the eye made landfall, the water came up so quick. Like there was nothing we could do. My husband was out trying to clean the drains to see if it would help, and it just kept coming up, and it ended up coming in the house.
And I know you said for Hurricane Ida, you all just had to replace the roof, but this was the first time at your home in 5 years that you saw the water come up this high, right?
Yes, ma'am. We didn't have any water like this for flooding. I mean, we deal with some flooding with the storms because the drainage just doesn't flow right. Even though we've made complaints with the city, they just tell us the trucks are in the shop or something like that, but nothing's really done. And this time it actually got in our house.
And I know
All right, so Louisiana Skywatch says only 2 areas got a lot of rain, Kenners and Lulling. They got about 10 inches. And this video was from Kenner, the video that I just showed. Okay. And yeah, I stopped watching it. And this is New Orleans. You know, last night, oh, it's going to start over again. Okay. This is New Orleans right now, currently. This was yesterday. I didn't see much going on. No, this was this morning. So, all right, well, extreme weather pattern will bring another strong storm. Okay, just a few minutes.
Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. Mark again here, Weatherman. Plus, let me give you the latest update on this next weather pattern we're going into, because this is where this strong system is going to be forming as we go through late September. So I'm going to show you all the information in this video. Now you can see Tropical Depression Francine is still moving. It's moving north at 14 miles per hour, moving very fast. Matter of fact, the western side of the eye actually strengthened to 97 miles per hour sustained winds on landfall, which would barely put it at a Cat 2 landfall yesterday. They did mark 105 miles per hour winds, but that was actually wind gusts. So it's only sustained winds that actually tells you the strength of the impacts of the landfall. And you see what we have over here in the East Pack. This one's still trying to form up, still getting in with Francine, still going all in itself. Louisiana is almost at 400,000. It's getting mostly 100% almost out of power. But you can see where all the power outages came as it.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're going to have to watch this to find out. The next extreme weather coming to the Gulf states. And look at this. City of Mobile, Alabama. Caught on camera. What was caught on camera?
Caught on camera. City of Mobile employees rinsing a concrete truck in turn spraying that concrete and chemicals into a sewer drain that leads right into Dog River. WKRG News 5's Haley Kennedy talked with the man who recorded this video, and he wants the employees responsible to be held accountable.
Concrete evidence of City of Mobile employees washing off a cement chute into a stormwater drain.
I mean, it's aggravating. I expect more from my city. It's embarrassing, for one. So you can see the splatter.
Washing off right in front of Josh Edwards' home.
Concrete truck dropped a chute down right here and rinsed it straight into here.
Edwards says he was at work Thursday when he got a motion notification on his phone, but didn't think much of it until he got home and saw the mess.
Really looked like if there's one around, this is what they do.
And when that washed up concrete dried, it hardened and stayed right here until Monday morning.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah. Who, what, did that employee think they weren't going to get caught? Washing the cement truck into the drainage system where it hardened. Well, I can't see this again, but this is the flooding in Vietnam. A whole lot of animals suffer as well. I'll post the link if you want to watch what a whole lot of pigs were killed. And Japan, the flooding in Japan. Okay, oh, look at this. No country has working drainage anymore. I'll post the link, you can watch it. Unbelievable. No, it's not unbelievable. But really, come on. So, when you close off the drainage system, what happens? When you reverse the drainage system, what happens? You have an awful lot of flooding, and it shoots out of manholes. Now, Maryland farms are in big trouble, and farms all over the country, farmers are in big trouble, except corporate farmers.
Back to As a Man Thinketh on United TV. Today, I want to talk about the state of Maryland. Maryland farmers are at risk of losing millions of dollars due to eminent domain.
According to the map that we've been shown, the 500-foot right-of-way is going to cut across the corner of the building here, and it's going to run straight across this field, which is our probably highest producing field. Yeah. And then it's going to cross the fence row and go straight that way. And again, it's our second probably highest producing field.
What they basically want to do is come from over the hill there and come straight across everything, come across the cropland, across the wetlands, and up in here to our pastures to basically cross us. You couldn't pick a wider swath through our farm. Your property value is going to go down as well. So, you know, we just paid good money for the farm. And now, as I say, less than a year in, your property value gets decreased just like that. And you have no say in it. Yeah, that's a big thing.
This originally belonged to my great-grandparents. I am the fourth generation. The fifth and sixth generation are here. Some of them live next door. And it's home. So it's part of who we are and holds the hope for the future. This will destroy everything we've worked for generations.
These are cases that have been popping up. And a lot of times, you know, when people think about these stories that I put out there, they think about farms out west, they think about farms in the Midwest. They don't think a lot about the East Coast. And a lot of the East Coast voters don't probably think about the East Coast farms. For some reason, a lot of times they think that they're protected from having these things happen to them, but it's happening in real time. And what the Maryland farmers are facing, this is a 500-volt transmission line running 70 miles across the state. They are facing the same issues that farmers in Kansas are facing, farmers in Missouri are facing, farmers in Michigan are facing, farmers in, you know, some of the Dakotas, Nevada, all across the United States. We're seeing these massive transmission lines coming in.
With an eye towards the future, a 70-mile transmission line capable of carrying 500,000 volts will run through Baltimore, Carroll, and Frederick counties to boost the power grid. Once a final route is selected, the developer will then have to negotiate with individual landowners on the value of using their property. And if they can't agree, they could then use the power of eminent domain to use it anyway.
Okay, the link is in the chat. So much is going on, and so many people are involved in the stealing of Americans' property. And look at this, San Joaquin County, this is in California, proposes ban on camping and sleeping in cars for more than an hour.
Affecting Californians tonight, homelessness.
Yes, San Joaquin County is now considering a change to their camping guidelines. It would ban people from camping on public property and also ban them from sleeping in their cars for more than an hour.
Supporters of the proposal say it would help officials encourage homeless people to seek shelter and services. But as ABC 10's Luke Clary reports,
why? How would it encourage people to seek government help? Homeless don't want to seek government help because they know that they don't get the help that they need. And a whole lot of this is about sleeping in shelters where it's very dangerous. But you can't sleep in your car for more than an hour. Well, what if you sleep there for 2 hours? Big Brother watching you? The squeeze is on for so many now. Another big rig crash. I'm telling you, these are happening all over.
Early morning fire causing big problems on the roads.
Now, Mike, we've been covering this story since today in the Bay, and this all started around 2:30 this morning.
Yeah, that's just before the Alameda County Fire got there on the scene and sent this video they took. This is a trailer that was carrying 40,000 pounds of produce in cardboard boxes. Presumably, the tightly packed trailer was the reason why it took a while to clear this fire. They took a while to put out the fire, and then they've been cleaning up ever since. Again, this happened at 2:30. It's now 11:04, still working on it. Let's get a look over at the maps. We're talking about.
And I find, this fire was also very, very hot. Three California dairy farms in quarantine. Bird flu.
Hey, Noel, this is the first time the virus has been found in California dairy cows, and now we're the 14th state with infected cows. It's usually found in birds, but recently it spread to dairy farms nationwide. Just today, more herds testing positive in Michigan. So there's a lot of growing concerns when it comes to this spread. It's unknown how the virus exactly jumped species and state lines, but most likely from the bird species and mingling between infected cows. Symptoms are less severe for cows than they are for birds, which can die from the virus. Symptoms include fever, dehydration, and being lethargic, much like the flu found in humans. But for cows, they can also experience decreased levels and abnormal look of milk. California is the biggest dairy producer in the country, so concerns are valid, but experts like Dr. Terry Leonbauer from UC Davis says there's no need to worry for consumers.
There has been extensive testing done after the problem was first identified by FDA.
And look, I don't believe that the tests come out, I didn't know that California was like the biggest dairy producer for the country. California, wow. Salmonella outbreak linked to recalled eggs spreads across 9 states. CDC, FDA, urgent warnings. affected because apparently there's been an outbreak affecting 65 individuals across 9 states, and it's been traced back to eggs sold by Milo's poultry farms. I guess they all ate eggs from Milo's poultry farms. All right. And yeah, don't get heated at any town hall meeting. You'll get arrested.
We live in a tiny little town. We can't accommodate this. Wait till you get to the Lake Lindsay plat that they want to do later. Amen. We definitely can't accommodate that. So how about you answer some of our questions, Mr. Holmes?
Next here at 5 o'clock, the argument over too much growth in Hernando County is getting even more contentious. A recent zoning and planning meeting was so heated, 2 people got arrested. ABC Action News reporter Eric Waxler brings us the voice of people who were at the meeting and shows us what's behind the battle.
We definitely can't.
Pamela Cremines didn't hold back when she got up for public comment at Hernando County's planning and zoning meeting.
We live in a tiny little town. We can't accommodate this.
She was speaking out Monday against a proposed housing development. There are 246 homes planned for a wooded area behind the Walmart near State Road 50.
Which of you want this in our town?
Ma'am, you need to please address the board.
I'm addressing the power of the American citizen, which does not sit with you, sir.
Cremines demanded the board show her the math on a traffic study involving the subdivision.
Listen, I understand your passion, especially
Now,
everyone
don't you placate me.
So
No.
I understand.
Answer the question.
Eventually, deputies asked her to leave the meeting. When she wouldn't, they took Cremines out. But when her husband came to help, the disturbance escalated. Obsidian Tiburone was there and shared her cell phone video with us.
They carried her out, and then as soon as they got her out to the hallway where there were no cameras and no people looking, that's when this stuff hit the fan.
Asia Moore was at the meeting too.
I've never seen a crowd like that in a planning and zoning meeting. I was beyond proud. Oh, I got goosebumps talking about it. To see that many residents and people just come out to say, hey, we've had enough, we're tired.
Moore says people in Hernando.
People are tired. People are frustrated. People are getting very angry with being completely and utterly ignored. And people are getting tired of, for years and years and years, we've watched Americans, the town hall. I've experienced it. All right, speak your piece. Thank you. Next. 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 Right? People are angry. Rightfully so. Naked man approaching woman in an apartment complex. What?
Police in South Brunswick, New Jersey are looking for the man seen here wearing a mask. The problem, the only thing he has on is that.
Okay, we're just going to run through this. Yeah. Now people just undressing, getting naked, walking around. It's a thing. I guess it's trending. Are people being paid to do this? Are people remotely controlled, behaving in ways that we would never have seen not too long ago? Chaos with the protests in Philadelphia, the Harris and Trump debate. Okay. No votes for genocide. And there were protests also in New York City that, yeah, looked a little much. We still have the crazies in public. Fearless Panera worker bash his customer with bread pan.
Hey, come on, get out. Oh. Hey, come on, grow up. Stop it. Get out of here. Get out of here. Hey! Stop it. Stop it. Call up police. Call up police on this guy. 641 South Colorado Boulevard. Come on now.
Oh man, wow, things are getting out of control. But here, thieves snatch envelope full of cash from an 80-year-old woman in Midtown. This is Houston. Yeah. Okay. Be very careful when you go to an ATM. And here. All right. Yeah, you can look up the Cloward Piven strategy, look up the World Economic Forum, look up the United Nations Agenda 2030 stance on immigration. But nobody's doing anything.
I feel like there should be a no vacancy sign up right now, and people are still coming in.
The influx of Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, has stressed healthcare, schools, and the number of auto accidents has skyrocketed. The state has pledged $2.5 million to increase access to medical care, but Governor Mike DeWine says the federal government needs to step up.
They have to step up.
He's part of this, okay? He's part of it. He has agreed to be yet another treasonous, subhuman thing to allow all of these Haitians into Ohio. But how many times do we have to listen to the governors or the mayors talk about, well, the federal government just has to step up? Really? You think they will? When so many have been pleading for the federal government to step up, especially during these 3 years of Biden administration? They say the same exact things. Frankly, the only thing that is going to maybe kickstart something is for the people to stand up, united, not divided, and really demand change, because things are getting pretty crazy.
It is their policies that have created these surges.
FBI data shows that violent crime in the city is up 142% from 2019 to 2022. The latest year data is available. Residents are fed up. Bill Monahan, a former journalist here, now part of a group called Stop the Influx.
It's causing sharp increases in rent and home prices, which is forcing people out of their homes. It's causing delays in public safety responses, like police, fire, especially police, or even emergency services. You go out to the site and no one speaks English.
This man says he lost his job and now his home because of the influx.
And who replaced you? Cases to a temporary company because they found out that they could get it for a lot less than $21 an hour.
But it is the topic of migrants eating pets and animals that has gone viral.
I see a group of Haitian people. There was about 4 of them. They all had geese in their hand.
They're in the park grabbing up ducks by their neck and cutting their head off and walking off with them and eating them.
But local police and town officials say they cannot substantiate that.
There have not been any credible reports or specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Not true.
Okay, Springfield, Ohio resident here for 30 years. Okay, been here my entire life. And since we are trending right now all over social media and people are wanting answers from the residents, I figured I would chime in. Might be an unpopular opinion that people want to hear. Yes, we have a Haitian Creole immigration issue. In the last couple of years, they have dropped off 20 to 30,000 immigrants. The last year to 6 months has been insane. They are dropping them off by the busload. When I say busload, I mean the Greyhound busload full. They are taking them to the gas stations and dropping them off by the busload. But the big thing that I wanted to address, have I personally seen any videos or public reports of the Haitian Creole community stealing cats and dogs and eating them? No. The video that is going viral of the woman who killed and ate the cat is not from Springfield. Do I know for a fact, and have I seen with my own eyes, okay, a Haitian Creole immigrant killing ducks? Yes. They are killing ducks at our reservoir and at our parks. They are chopping their heads off and they are cooking them up. They are also gutting animals up at the reservoir and roasting them, goats, pigs, that kind of thing, which, you know, obviously isn't illegal, but the way that they're doing it and leaving things is just ridiculous. They have completely trashed our reservoir. I mean, overloaded with trash. It's really sad. There's 20 to 30 tents out there that they are sleeping in, and again, just completely trashed. The driving is a huge issue. There's probably 4 to 5 plus accidents a day of the Haitian Creole immigrants solely. They're running in to any and everything. I mean that. Trash cans, poles, libraries, garages, houses, flipping cars in the middle of the street, going down the street the wrong way, going down one way is the wrong way. It's really bad. Not to mention, yes, they are here and they are getting a lot of money for being here. They are given money for their dependents. They are given money for food, housing, everything that you would think of.
I will post the link and you can listen to the remainder of what she has to say. So there's, as far as the pets, dogs, cats, residents coming out and saying that that's not, they haven't seen any of that, haven't heard of any of that. But the ducks, the geese, okay. And this was an interesting, what she has to say.
My father immigrated from Haiti to the United States in the late 60s as a teenager, and I want to talk about these recent comments about the Haitians in Springfield, Ohio. First, I want to say my father and I are now estranged, but I did know him in my very, very young years, and when he immigrated, he was one person, and they weren't sending, you know, thousands of Haitians in one area. He wasn't eating people's pets and he didn't practice voodoo. But he did say that most of the island, the majority of the island, does practice voodoo. The reason they eat cats is for 2 reasons. Number one is survival. This is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. You can't just go to a food bank like you can here, or just go to McDonald's and get some free or cheap food, unless, of course, there's a Christian missionary there. People in the United States have a really hard time imagining that type of thing, but it is true. Second, they do animal sacrifices for their religion, voodoo. They make these animal sacrifices to these gods for different reasons. You can do your own research on this. Do I think voodoo is a demonic religion? Yes, I do. That doesn't mean, obviously, that doesn't mean that you hate these people. These people need prayer. But you can't just take over all these people from another country and expect it to work. Not to mention, it doesn't fix the problems of that country. And there's more people left in Haiti that we can bring over. It's not racist to acknowledge that this is a problem. It's not racist to talk about these things that are happening. This is not just white Americans saying this is Black Americans. You can look at the people in Springfield, Ohio saying that this is happening. Y'all just want to joke about Trump and say that he's crazy for saying that this is happening instead of actually checking at all to see if this is happening. You want to make jokes about these things. Well, what if it were happening to you and your community? And no, it's beyond eating their pets, even though that is bad enough.
Point the finger at the real enemy. Our local, state, federal leaders who have brought this on. And here's another resident.
Well, I am a resident of Springfield, Ohio, and it is not fake news. There is an issue with them because we have in our local park, they literally have ducks down there that the park takes care of, and it's where they live, and they are being killed and eaten. And as far as people's personal pets, I've heard stories, but I can't answer to that personally because I don't know. But I can tell you, because this is a car channel, I do car content, I can approach this story from the car issue. And when I say that, I mean their driving issues. I witnessed this. They literally, and they have to have a translator wherever they go. They literally have been in the DMV where, like, I go and get my license plate renewed, and it's also where you get your license, obviously. And they literally have a translator, and they show up with a piece of paperwork that grants them driving privileges with no proof that they can actually drive, just that they're of age. It gives them driving privileges for 45 days, and in 45 days they can go back and renew it, and they never have to show proof of how competent of a driver they are. We can't do that. And the accidents that are happening here in this town are crazy stories.
The link is in the chat. You can listen to the remaining 4 minutes. But there have been really tragic accidents. 12-year-old on a school bus, dead. And I think 20 other students injured from a Haitian driving into it. Another woman that I was listening to today, and it's heartbreaking listening to these people who have lost loved ones. It is your government that allows this. It's the government. How can they issue these driving licenses, whatever they are, for 45 days? Then you just have to renew it without any proof that, hey, sweetheart, come on, without any proof that they can actually drive. Okay, so we're in big, big, big trouble here. Oh, this is the woman.
Everyone is talking about the death of ducks and cats in this town, but I'd like to talk about the death of one very special person, my mother-in-law, Kathy Heaton. On December 1st, I received a phone call that changed my life forever. She was collecting her trash can from her driveway when a car struck and killed her instantly. A task she had done over 2,000 times, spanning 4 decades in Springfield. That morning, though, a Haitian immigrant was allegedly driving. recklessly when he struck and killed her. I say allegedly because to this day, there's been no punishment, not even for the expired tags on the vehicle he was driving. Months before she was killed, I began noticing the reckless driving and complete disregard for our driving laws by some members of the Haitian community. It made me angry. But now my anger has turned to fear for the safety of my family and the citizens of Springfield. I'd been to Haiti 14 years ago. My husband and I went, and it was my first time in a third world country. I sobbed when I saw the poverty living there, and I have great empathy and compassion for them, longing for a safe place to call home. But 14 years later, I'm living in fear in my own city. It's not safe.
But the remaining minute, the link is in the chat, and Julie C., I will get that link for you right now. This is for the woman who was talking about her father coming over, Haitian, and what goes on in Haiti. So, oh man. And talk about crazy, yeah. It's a crazy story. Illegal alien, MS-13 gangsta, kills girl, then enrolls in Maryland high school. A Maryland high school unknowingly allowed an illegal alien MS-13 gang member at the center of a murder investigation to enroll after local, state, and federal authorities failed to inform the school's administration. Yeah. What do you say?
You know, the homeless problem. I don't know of a single homeless Haitian in this town because they all got vouchers. But I can show you a whole bunch of people that have been displaced because I'm that guy. Rob, you know, for 25 years, I've worked with the homeless in this community. You know, a lot of people don't know because I'm not the guy out there blowing the horn because it ain't about me. It's the Jesus in me that goes out there and does it. Trust me, there's days I'm tired. But I'll get into homeless camps that nobody in a suit and tie will walk into. None. They trust me because I've never let them down. You know, and guys, if you don't think it's here right now, in October, we are getting ready to hit a wall here. There is not any relief for the homeless. The homeless people in this community are not the people you think they are. The squatters that aren't happening. It's not there. There's veterans. Come see me. I'm not real hard to find. Ask anybody on the street. They'll tell you how to get a hold of me.
Yeah. And guess what? It's the Jesus within him that comes out. You can see the Jesus within people. It's how they operate in life, what they manifest, their fruits. Displaced, Haitians housed, displaced. Oh, sorry, Americans. Senior residents kicked out of low-income Kansas City apartment complex. This does not reflect well on the American people who have been bullshitting the world about how morally superior they have been and how exceptional they were.
She said, Miss Bates, I have some paperwork for you. She handed it to me. She says, you have 90 days to find you somewhere to move.
Some senior citizens claim they're being forced out of their Kansas City apartments with nowhere to go. They claim management at the Twin Elms complex told them they no longer qualify financially to remain in that low-income housing. I'm John Holt.
I'm Lauren Halifax. They also say management has known about their increased income for more than a year.
so they don't understand why they have to move now. Fox 4's Malik Jackson is on the story, and he's live in Kansas City at the Twin Elms apartment complex on the Paseo. Malik?
Lauren and John, Claudia Bates has lived here for more than 5 years, but that soon may be coming to an end after this surprise letter, and she's not alone. Tonight, residents are stressed out, they're fed up, and they're speaking out, pleading for a little grace and mercy.
We don't have no security. They break it in the cars, don't have the proper lighting in the back. We don't have the doors that open.
Sherry Greer says the elevator is always down in a building with a lot of elderly and handicapped people. In fact, it was down the last 2 weeks, and today was its first day back operating. But those problems pale in comparison to what Greer's sister, Claudia Bates, is up against.
I was notified on August the 21st that I had 90 days, that my income was too high.
The catch, her income changed more than a year ago, but she wasn't told she had to move until August 21st, the move-out date the week before Thanksgiving. 72-year-old Bates is not alone. Greer tells Fox 4 at least 2 others, including an 80-year-old woman who had an adjustment to her Social Security, were told the same thing. They've got to go.
They don't even answer the phone. If you call here, do they answer the phone? They don't answer the phone. They don't return a call if you leave a message or nothing. Like right now, you here, ain't nobody here.
And yes, we called, no answer. And when we went to the office to inquire, no one was there.
It's hard. It's hard. I'm trying to work out, try to come home, get some sleep, and get up to go find somewhere to move. And then I have to be at work at 3 o'clock in the evening. I don't get off for work until late. And it's hard.
Their Social Security went up, and now they don't qualify for living in this apartment complex. So get out. Get out. 80 years old. Get out. It's hard to face that this is who we are. Not every individual, but it's the manifestation of the majority. The majority manifests reality in society. This is who we are. Nursing home expected to close after loss of federal funding.
A Waterbury nursing home is expected to close next month after losing its federal funding. Leaders say the facility is not in compliance with certain safety requirements. News 8's Tim Hartman has reaction from the people who live there.
We can't believe it. It's surreal. Like just crushing your life.
I am devastated by the thought of closing our home.
Lining up outside their home, residents of the Abbott Terrace Health Center say they don't know where to go after the Waterbury Care Facility announced it's expected to close within 30 days.
Many people here know no one else in the community other than the people who we have here.
So they're not in compliance. Force the facility to be in compliance somehow. Don't, just take away funding, close the whole thing, where so many people who don't have any other place to go. Now, how many people are being put on the street? Oh, but we've got $700 million for aid for Ukraine's energy grid. I guess the majority of Americans want what is going on, right? Because if they didn't, they would maybe do something. We are so, excuse my French, fucked up as a people. All right, so this was a very good video. And yeah, Chinese military buddying up with U.S. military, JWTV, Chinese soldier trained by Americans to kill Americans. We know this is happening, right?
Chinese soldier trained by Americans to kill Americans. And we're going to go into all this detail here and show you the photos of where they've been and then get you into the maps and everything else. Based on evidence from the U.S., Chinese social media, Bertalin has identified a Chinese Special Forces soldier received training from former U.S. Special Forces on American soil. People Liberation Army soldier lived and studied training in the United States from at least 2014 to 2020. And when he returned to the PLA, he started using potentially some of the tactics that he learned here. That's him right there in a training mission. There's also Zhang at the left of the core training class in Los Angeles County, California. So moving forward here and showing you more of these images, Zhang Extreme Tactics Training Solutions in Texas in March of 2020. And then there he is in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And that was in 2018. So yes, they've been training with the Marines. And when they went back, Zhang trained in the PAP SWAT unit. This is in China. And Ronin Tactics had his Desert Marine pattern trousers image from June 2023. So again, the tactics he's learned, what he's went back with, is potentially what he's learned from the U.S. soldiers. And obviously, moving right here, let's show you this. Above two images, China South Industries Group Corporation utilized Zhang in advertising materials at Zhuhai Air Show in 2022. The materials were promoting a new training system that could possibly have been based on what Zhang learned in his time in the United States. CSGC is one of China's largest state-owned weapons manufacturer. Additionally, Zhang served as a representative for Argus Night Vision, well-known Chinese.
All right, the link again is in the chat. I guess the war propaganda has been very effective on the American people, believing that the CCP and the U.S. of A are enemies. They're enemies. No. Oh my God, it's exhausting living this. When the law no longer protects you from the corrupt, but protects the corrupt from you, you know your nation is doomed. Yeah. I would have liked to have seen something other than what I am witnessing today. I would have liked to have seen some kind of fabulous country be manifested. That's decades and decades and decades ago. My dream. Well, it's been the opposite. And gotta live honestly, gotta speak honestly. And that's the only solution to this madness. Of course, we do need it in the very large aggregate of individuals who do that work and wake up, the following morning, and they can manifest something different. And the likelihood of that happening is not great. Right? We know that. Okay. So I really, I did want to say, When people leave comments about how you look, like someone left a comment about my hair, that I really need to do something with my hair. You're focusing on the wrong thing. And frankly, you're walking the low road. We've got so much going on. So much going on. So many people in need, myself included. And that's what you want to focus on? My hair? I should do it for my subscribers? Okay. Thank you all for showing up. I do hope to see you tomorrow night. And on that note, stay safe. Help those that you know are hurting and in need. Please. Okay. Good night. Good luck. Ciao, guys.